Hi, Prego Expo. We're so excited.
Hello, everybody. Hi there. We are live. We are Happy Family Organics. Hi, everybody. We got Rachel here in Denver. I am Eleanor. So happy to be here at Prego Expo. Today, we're going to talk about starting solids. Just want to mention that we've got a great giveaway. Please enter our giveaway. And join us in our booth after this presentation too, and we can follow up with any questions that you may have about our products. Like I said, my name is Eleanor, and I am the Happy Family Organics rep here in Chicago. Hello to anyone in Chicago, and please put your due dates in the comments. We would love to see your due dates and maybe where you're from too. I wanted to say that Happy Family, we have launched on Mother's Day 2006, and we have the mission to change the trajectory of children's health through nutrition. So we provide everything you need for your child to go organic from the start. So today we've got Rachel. Rachel is my coworker in Denver, and she has actually worked for Happy Family for 6 years. And Rachel, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for Happy Family?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Eleanor. Well, we're so excited to be here with you guys. As Eleanor said, my name is Rachel. I am the brand ambassador for the Denver market in Colorado. And I've been with Happy Family for 6 years now. I actually started with Happy Family when my daughter was 1. So I was right in the thick of starting solids and trying to navigate nutrition and figure out what was going to be the best options for her moving forward. And it really was such a blessing in my life that I found Happy Family right at that point in my life and her life, because it allowed us to really live the values of Happy Family and see them kind of play out in our lives, in our everyday lives, and watch her kind of move through the stages that we're going to talk about today and try a lot of these foods. And for me, the biggest part and the biggest benefit of Happy Family is just all of the support that this organization provides to new parents. And we're going to talk a lot about that as we go through our presentation. But our website has so much information. We have a whole learning center. We have all kinds of support. And I just think it's so wonderful to live the values and see those values play out every day in helping parents navigate what can be a overwhelming and complicated time. It's wonderful.
It is. I think starting solids can be overwhelming, and but it's such a joyous milestone in the baby's lifetime too. So let's definitely, absolutely. So let's talk about product. I'm really excited to talk about our products. My favorite product is that it has to be some of our pouches. I love these pouches. Moms, you probably have seen our pouches. We actually came up with the very first clear pouch, so you can see the food right through the pouch. And we have the recipe on the very back. So I love that we're transparent with all of our ingredients. I love that, you can replicate the recipe if you like. So Rachel, let's talk about some of the full range of products that we have for babies.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we jump into that, I just want to share something that's really important about Happy Family. All of our products are completely 100% certified organic. And we are really big on the organic lifestyle and all the benefits of starting your baby on organics. We actually call it going organic from the start. And the biggest thing to understand for those of you might already be familiar with organic, you might already be introducing those living that kind of organic lifestyle. But for those of you who are new to it, 100% certified organic means that it has gone through very stringent testing and requirements, and there are basically no pesticides, no GMOs, no hormones in the food. All of our food is sourced organically, organic farmers, organic practices, and everything inside of it is 100% certified organic. And there's actually a distinction between an all-natural product and a certified organic product, which is really important to understand as you're kind of going through labels. Anybody can put the word natural and call it a product. There's really no and there's no guidelines essentially for what that means. But certified organic does separate itself from those natural products. So we are really big on introducing these organic products from the beginning, letting your baby go organic from the start, and really having this complete, balanced, organic nutrition. So everything you see here, everything we talk about is 100% certified organic. All right, so what should we start with?
Ooh, let's go ahead and start with, oh gosh, I know, where do parents start with? It's like kind of funny because I feel like when my little one started products and started eating, I was a little overwhelmed. So how do we know when babies are ready for solids? So there's a few signs of readiness, and let's go over those signs of readiness. And again, all babies develop a little bit differently. But basically, the American Academy of Pediatrics says that you can start solids at about 6 months. At this point, their intestinal tract is ready to accept food, and but they also need to be able to sit up really well. With some assistance is okay too, but they need to be able to hold up their head up really well, because you don't want baby to like droop down their head like that, because that's a more chance for choking. And when you start solids with your baby, your baby's going to really like communicate with you, body language. So can they turn their head from right to left? And that's basically telling parents, they're going to say, no, mom, I don't want any. Yes, mom, I want more food. Also, have they lost that tongue thrust? Kind of like they push it out with their tongue. And so that's just really nature's way of preventing them from choking. So once they understand, like, oh, mom's got some really good food at the end of that spoon, they'll go ahead and they'll swallow the food. But again, it takes a few tries and it takes some practice to lose that tongue thrust. And then finally, is baby watching you when you eat? When you're sitting down at the lunch table or dinner table and they're just watching you, or sometimes they're even mimicking you, chewing and so forth, then you know that they're ready for solids. So those are a few signs of readiness. So I also like to tell parents too, when we start this journey of solids, is that, at the age of 6 months and up, we're really, the importance of starting solids is to really kind of get baby used to textures and swallowing and chewing and so forth. So again, their main source of nutrition is going to be either breast milk or formula that very first year. So, the introduction to solids is important because they, again, are getting these little baby skills of chewing and swallowing, but we have a little fun saying at Happy Family, and that is under one, just for fun. So again, that nutrition, main source of nutrition and calories is going to be from breast milk or from formula. But again, go ahead and start those, the solids introduction, and don't stress about it either. All babies are going to catch up with each other at a certain point. So, Rachel, okay, let's talk about, what can we give our babies as a first solid?
Yeah, definitely. So you have a couple different options. The conventional wisdom kind of goes back and forth between starting with a single grain cereal or starting with one of the purees in a jar or pouch form. Kind of goes back and forth. There really isn't a tried or true rule. So you can really start with anything. The important thing when you start with one of the products is to make sure it's a single ingredient product. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to test for intolerances, allergy reactions. So if you tried a product with a lot of different ingredients in there, it's going to be hard to separate out if your baby has a reaction, figure out what they're having a reaction to. So let's start with the cereal. This is our Clearly Crafted line. It is made up of the cereal and the pouches and the jars. We were the first company to put these clear panels on our pouches. And you can also see right through the bag here. So this is the oatmeal cereal. It's organic whole grains, fortified with iron. Another thing that we do throughout all of our products is we mark the stage and the age right on the package. So you'll see that in our pouches, our jars, as we move through the snacks and even into the toddler snacks. So this one says it's for sitting baby, which goes right back to what Eleanor was saying. You want to make sure your baby can sit up and hold their head up independently. So this is oatmeal, and then we also have an oats and quinoa. Now the quinoa is really important because throughout our line, and as we're talking today, we're going to talk to you about our enlightened nutrition philosophy, which is, and there it is, there's in the orange package, oats and quinoa. So what we do throughout our products is we introduce ingredients that provide extra nutrition, food for the brain, food for the eyes, their development. So you'll see that in things like quinoa, which is a complete protein, and we do ancient grains, things like kale and spinach and mangoes and papaya, ingredients that your baby might not have access to otherwise in their regular diet. So you'll see that throughout the line, and we'll point those out as we go through some of our products. All right, so how do we use this? We've got our cereal. At this point, baby's probably only getting formula or breast milk. So the best way to do this is to take a little bit of the cereal and mix it with what you're feeding them. So if you're feeding breast milk, take a little bit of your breast milk, pump, and mix it into the cereal. Same with the formula. Whatever taste they're already used to is going to help them accept this a little bit easier. Now, you also want to make sure that you're using a very runny consistency at this stage, because baby's only used to liquids, milk and or formula. So you want to make sure that this is very runny as it can be. And their tummies are very small at this point. So you just need to mix up a little small, like, ramekin bowl of it to get started. And as they start to, take more of it, you can increase it. And you can also increase the consistency as you go. So once that you see baby is taking this cereal off their spoon and they're able to process it and swallow it, then you can start making it thicker and thicker and kind of work up to more of like an oatmeal consistency. So this is a good option, our Clearly Crafted cereal, all organic. And then you can also start with purees. So we've got pouches and jars. We've marked on here, we've got stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 will be 1 ingredient. So this is just organic green beans in here. It's also a very runny consistency. It's like a very watery soup. So again, it's the consistency of the milk, but you're getting a flavor and a different ingredients in there. So that's stage 1. And it's really important, like we said, to introduce a food and then give it 2 or 3 days. Make sure your baby's not going to have any rashes or irritation around their mouth, diaper rash. Those are kind of all the signs that you need to watch out for. If those 2 or 3 days have passed and everything is fine, baby's taking those green beans, move on to the next thing. Go to carrots, go to pears. You kind of work through all the way. As we move into stage 2, which we've also marked here, 6 months and up, stage 2, this one is bananas and strawberries. So now at this point, your baby's had either both bananas and strawberries, or they've had bananas and the bananas are okay, and now it's okay to introduce strawberries in a mixture. So our jars are like that, our pouches are like that. You can see right through our pouches. We also include the recipe on the back and some information on the farm that it came from. So that's really cool. Both of these can be capped and put back in the refrigerator for a day or 2. So kind of what Eleanor was mentioning, your baby might not take green beans the first time. They might not be in the mood for it. They might be, not interested in playing right now, and that's okay. This is all about exploration and having fun and keeping things relaxed and taking your lead from your baby. So if you introduce the green beans and the baby's going, oh, I'm not doing the green beans today, that's okay. You can put the lid on, put it back in the fridge, and try again. Try again later that day. Try again a couple times the next day. Eleanor has a funny story. I think she can probably share with you about how many times it can take to get your baby to try food.
That's so funny. Yeah. My older one was, we tried carrots. I made some homemade carrot puree, and he was not having the carrots. And I even tried, he loves cereal. So I put a little bit of carrot in the cereal. He was not having it. So it literally took 13 times because I made those carrots 13 times. So they say that you may have to introduce it up to 15 times in order for your baby to accept that. So I think as parents, we have to have a really good sense of humor and a good smile on your face, because they can sense when you're, trying to rush a feeding or you're upset or anything like that. But yeah, the power of introduction is really good, and just got to keep introducing those foods, and hopefully they'll like it. And now my son loves carrots, so there we go. Yeah. How about stage 3 and stage 4? What are the differences between stage 3 and stage 4?
That is a great question. We have let me see here. Basically, as the stages go up, they become thicker consistency. You'll start introducing grains and just more filling. So these actually, as we move into stage 3 and stage 4, these are more in our happy tot line. So as we've got all of our happy baby foods and snacks, we also have a full tot line and a kids line. So you'll find in stage 4 they're bigger, more quantity inside. This one has super chia, more fiber. So they'll just end up being more filling and more satisfying to kind of hold the toddlers so they don't get so hungry, kind of satiate them a little bit longer. So that is a great question. Our jars only come stage 1 and stage 2 though.
Yes, and so that's a question we get all the time. What are the differences in stages, and how do we know when our baby's ready to go on to the next stage? I always tell parents too, if you are doing stage 2 and they have kind of are good with that that thickness and texture consistency of stage 2, go on and challenge stage 3. And maybe they're ready for that. And all babies develop differently, and all babies kind of stick to certain stages that they really love. But go ahead, if you feel that your baby's ready for the next stage, go ahead and challenge them for the little bit thicker, maybe a thicker, lumpier texture too.
Yeah.
Just a couple more little tips I'll give you about starting solids is that, we talked about the power of introduction. You may have to go ahead and introduce that solid a few times to your baby. We had one question about a comment about developmentally. Starting solids is really important developmentally for the baby too. I know I had mentioned under one just for fun, but their main source of nutrition will be that breast milk or that formula. But developmentally, this is really important for baby to learn these little skills, because once you start introducing those solids, baby is learning that, they're learning how to accept a texture, a solid. They're learning how to use their tongue. They're learning, development of their jaw muscles. It's super important when baby learns that mom puts a texture in our mouth with a food with a certain texture. I manipulate it with my tongue, I chew it, and it goes to another texture, and then I swallow it. So super important for babies to learn that. And that's this whole idea of like what Rachel was talking about, stages. It's like texture progression. So you start off with that very thin stage of stage 1, and then you're slowly building up that texture progression with a little bit thicker, lumpier textures and so forth. So, and also, another little mom tip that I have: let baby play with the spoon. You have your spoon that you're feeding the baby, but let baby have a spoon too, because again, they learn by imitating us, and so they'll learn how to stick that spoon in their mouth by themselves. Maybe put a little bit of puree on the baby's tray. They'll take their fingers and they'll learn how to feed themselves too. So, and that's just a great introduction for their pincer grips. So developmentally, again, it's really important for learn how to, find their mouth and then their pincer grips too. So play with the spoon. Don't go into a feeding super like hungry. I always suggest, if you're breastfeeding your baby, give them a little snack, maybe a little bit of formula first. Don't let baby go into a first feeding super hungry, because they may reject it. Right. So give them a little bit and then introduce it too. So just a few mom hacks that we have along the way. Okay, so Rachel, do we have to start with the cereal? I mean, can we start with something else? That's another question we get a lot.
Yeah, you really can start with either the cereal or a fruit or vegetable puree. Doctors kind of go back and forth. They really recommend both. It's kind of your preference at that point. You can get another question we hear is should we start with a fruit or a vegetable puree? Yeah. That doesn't really matter either. If you start with a fruit, it's not like your child is never going to eat a vegetable.
Right.
The nice thing about as we move through our stages. Oh yeah. So like our stage 2, like this is a stage 2 that's apples and spinach. So you're getting the sweetness of the apple, and you're also starting to get the taste of the spinach. So as you're starting to mix these, you're gonna have a mixture of fruits and vegetables, and that is gonna start to help your baby develop their palate for vegetables and fruits. So there really is we hear lots of advice from different. but you with either. About it, I just want to share a couple things from our website. I know we've just got a couple more minutes. Just so you guys all know, as soon as our presentation is over, we're going to head over to our booth. So we invite you to join us there. We have a lot more to talk about. We can talk about some snacks as you move past these first foods. We can talk about our toddler line. We have a lot of things that we can share over there. We can answer questions. But our website has a lot of resources, including the ability to chat live with our Happy Baby experts. And this is such an amazing resource for parents. It gives you the ability to go and chat live, answer questions in real time and get those answered about things like breastfeeding and supply and latching. You can ask questions about nutrition, starting solids, is my baby ready? What should I start with? I have a picky toddler. My toddler won't eat vegetables. What can I do? This is a resource that's comprised of nurses, lactation consultants, nutritionists, and they are there solely to answer questions. So it's a really, really nice resource. It's our Happy Baby expert. But I encourage you to utilize that when you have questions. It's so much more comforting to get those questions answered by a professional than relying on Google.
Right, exactly, too. And I love that we have so many articles, too, in our website. If you have questions about bottles, if you want to make your own homemade baby food, we have baby recipes. We even have a great little cheat sheet. I call it a cheat sheet, like starting solids sheet. So like what to feed, when to feed, how much to feed. And I think our lovely coworker, Michelle, she's doing our chat right now. And I know that she'll put up a link for that starting solids worksheet, and it's a great little how-to. I know we only have a few more minutes left. Do we want to talk about a little bit about the lactation cookies?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Something for mom.
Right,
This is for
exactly.
you. Yeah, so these are our lactation cookies. They were new last year. They are awesome little nutrition boosts for you, mom, that supports you throughout your pregnancy and while you are nursing your baby. They can be eaten anytime, so there's nothing in them that's gonna like put you into labor or anything crazy, or if you're pregnant, you can eat them now. They're individually wrapped. Eleanor is showing them. They come 10 to a box. They're available on Amazon right now. 2 flavors. We've got chocolate, oat, and sea salt, and then a cinnamon and oat. And these are just so awesome because they have so many nutrients in here: DHA and iron, and folic acid and biotin, brewer's yeast, all kinds of just nutritional superfoods for you to support you. Completely organic and dairy free. Yep.
Yes.
So these are awesome. They're available on Amazon. They're so good.
Pregnant moms can have them too. So if you're pregnant and whatever mom is getting, baby's getting too. So great iron, folic acid, DHA for that brain and eye development, and then of course after baby, it's going right through your breast milk if you're lactating and breastfeeding.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think we're going to get cut off here in a minute, but come join us in our booth. Also, we have a really awesome community on Facebook. It's our Happy Parents community. We invite you to join us over there. It's exclusive offers, behind the scenes information. So join us over there. We would love to invite you to our Happy Parents community on Facebook. All right, join us in our booth and we'll keep our conversation going over there.